Hello, friends. Thank you for being here. Each of you makes this channel alive and special. Thanks to your support, I can share stories, thoughts, and emotions that hopefully resonate in your heart. If you have just started exploring my content, welcome. Real-life stories are waiting for you here. Subscribe, like, and share your impressions. Your voice is very important to me. Picture this. I showed up to my daughter's wedding, the one I'd devoted my entire life to. But instead of a warm welcome, she looked at me and said, "Dad, I'm sorry, but you weren't invited. You should leave." My heart breaking, I quietly slipped away. Before long, what seemed like her perfect wedding began to unravel. Was it revenge? No, just the natural course of events. The champagne glass slipped from my fingers, and its shards scattered across the marble floor like stars falling. Each piece reflected the shock in my daughter's eyes. "Dad, why are you here?" she asked, her voice cutting through the happy buzz around us. Emily's wedding dress, which had set me back 12 grand, rustled as she backed away. I stood there, speechless at the grand ballroom entrance, still holding the wrapped gift I'd brought. The room was filled with Ecuadorian white roses, their scent mingling with sweet perfume and judgmental looks. Above, the chandelier cast colorful patterns in a venue that cost me 3 months' profits. "Sweetheart, it's your wedding day," I said, trying to soften my tone. "I just wanted to wish you well." Michael was next to her, sharp in his custom tux, his smile as freezing as a winter gust. "Mr. Clark, there seems to be a mistake," he said smoothly. Perplexed, I searched their faces, looking for the child who used to beg for me to push her on the swing. Emily glanced nervously at the guests. She finally said, "This is a family-only event. Immediate family." Those words hurt more than I thought possible. 28 years of bedtime stories, school plays, and dance recitals boiled down to this one moment. Years of prioritizing her future over my retirement, putting her happiness over my comfort, led to this. "I'm the one who footed the bill for this wedding, Emily," I said, trying to keep my voice even. "Every flower, every dish, and the dress you're wearing." Michael's smile faded. "Buying things doesn't equate to class, sir." Emily slightly nodded, avoiding my eyes. "It's not about money. It's about fitting in. You don't understand these people," she said. But I got it. Guys like me don't belong at their upscale gatherings. I'd done my part by helping her enter their world. The room went silent. A photographer paused, while the string quartet continued, oblivious to the tension. "I understand," I mumbled, leaving the gift on a table amidst untouched drinks and orchids. "I never meant to embarrass you." "Dad, please. Don't make this harder," Emily whispered. I studied her face, memorizing every feature I'd kissed goodnight for so many years. The green eyes she got from her mom now seemed cold, and the smile I had given braces for turned away from me. "You're right," I said quietly. "I don't belong here." The walk to the door felt endless. Conversations resumed in whispers, and a laugh inauthentic. My polished boots felt heavy on the perfect floor. As I stepped outside, the spring air was like a freedom I'd long forgotten. The parking lot was packed with luxury cars I couldn't dream of owning. My old pickup sat alone off in the corner, blending right in. I took out my phone, my hands steady despite the storm of feelings inside. Years of building my business from nothing taught me patience, and years of unreturned love showed me what loyalty truly means. Ignoring missed calls from my lawyer about a land dispute, I scrolled to a contact I hadn't dialed in ages, but suddenly felt was crucial. My thumb hovered over the number, First National Bank Business Services. Inside, my daughter was beginning her new life without me. Outside, I was about to start mine without her. As the call connected, the grand doors behind me closed, like sealing a vault. The music from the wedding faded as I walked towards my truck, each step carrying more resolve than the last. The gift box still sat on the table inside, forgotten in the midst of all the luxury. They were just as forgotten as everything else I'd parted with. The March wind hinted at the rain heading our way. Dark clouds began to gather over the venue's Gothic spires, casting shadows on fancy cars worth more than most people's homes. The gravel crunched under my boots as I made my way to the truck, keys already in hand. Once inside the cab, silence enveloped me like protective armor. The dashboard clock said 3:47 p.m., just enough time before the banks shut down for the weekend and to make a few necessary phone calls. I scrolled through my contacts until I found what I needed: First National Bank Business Services. My finger hovered for 3 seconds before I pressed the call button. First National, Patricia speaking. How can I help you? She answered. Patricia, this is James Clark, account number 7794512. I need to stop some payments, I said. No problem, Mr. Clark. I'll pull up your account. Could you please confirm your social security number and your mother's maiden name? Standard procedure. I recited the details while watching guests arrive at the venue's entrance. Women in silk, men adjusting pricey cufflinks, completely unaware of what was about to unfold. Thanks. I see a few significant transactions from today. Which do you want to halt? She asked. All the payments tied to the wedding: venue rental, catering deposit, flowers, photography, music services. I listed off, recalling the details from memory. These are hefty amounts. Are you positive about stopping all of them? She asked. I'm sure. Circumstances changed, I replied. The tapping of her keyboard filled the brief silence. For anything over $10,000, I'll need authorization codes, she said. I recited the codes effortlessly. 25 years in construction had taught me to remember every important number, every contract detail, every payment code. All stops are now effective. You'll get confirmation numbers shortly. Anything else? She asked. No, that's everything for banking. Thanks, Patricia. My next call was to the top catering company in Spokane, the one Emily insisted on despite the exorbitant price. Elegant Affairs Catering, Marcus speaking. Marcus, this is James Clark. I'm calling about the Anderson wedding reception happening now, I said. Ah, Mr. Clark, everything's going well. Guests are loving the appetizers, he said cheerily. There's a financial snag. Authorization's been pulled. Best to secure your equipment and remaining food, I informed him. Silence hung between us for a moment. I'm sorry. What? He stammered. The bank stopped payment on your contract. It's effective immediately. Protect your assets, I explained. But we're in the middle of service. The main course hasn't even gone out, Marcus protested. Bad timing. Discuss other payment options with the wedding party, I suggested calmly, as Marcus ended the call promptly. Wise choice. The florist picked up on the second ring. Bellingham Blooms, Susan here. Susan, this is James Clark about the Anderson wedding flowers, I said. The bouquets look fantastic. The bride absolutely loved the orchids, Susan commented. Well, there's a payment issue. Bank authorization's been canceled. If you'd like to recover any value, you should collect your flowers, I advised. Collect them? But they're part of the venue decor, Susan objected. Business is business, Susan. I'd act quickly, I suggested. 3 more calls followed. Photographers, the string quartet, even the linen rental. Each call followed the same beat. Professional courtesy gave way to mounting panic and hurried hang-ups as vendors scrambled to protect themselves. By the time I was done, my phone read 4:15 p.m. I watched through the windshield as a white catering van parked at the venue's service entrance. Marcus, probably, trying to salvage whatever he could. Inside that ballroom, Emily was likely still socializing with guests, oblivious that her dream wedding was about to turn into an expensive lesson. Michael was probably deep in conversation with his father's associates, sure he'd risen above a simple construction worker like me. Neither realized what their actions had truly cost them today. I started the engine and pulled out of the parking lot. I was hanging out near the entrance looking through the big windows. Inside, People were clinking crystal glasses and moving smoothly across the shiny floors. But things were about to go haywire. My phone vibrated, flashing Emily's name, but I ignored it. The dashboard showed 4:20 p.m. when the first truck pulled up. Bellingham Blooms was painted on its side with fancy script. Susan was driving, flanked by two helpers. They parked by the service entrance and started unloading empty tubs like seasoned pros. Through the windows, I could see the cocktail party buzzing, chandeliers casting light on the crystal glasses as everyone admired Emily's imported flowers. Michael stood off to the side, chatting with some guys in suits, likely bragging about his latest business venture. Neither the bride nor the groom noticed the flower crew quietly slipping in through the side entrance. Emily was by the main door, glowing in her $12,000 silk and pearl wedding dress, beaming as relatives swarmed around her. Her laughter rang out, carefree and bright, a sound that wouldn't last. Susan walked into the ballroom with two big plastic bins, her helpers dealing with the smaller flower arrangements. As they started to dismantle the centerpiece, guests turned, clearly puzzled. "Excuse me," Emily said, approaching Susan with a customer service smile. "We're in the middle of our reception. Could this wait?" Susan straightened, holding a bundle of white orchids. "Ma'am, I'm Susan from Bellingham Blooms. The payment for these arrangements was canceled 40 minutes ago. I need to collect our property." Emily's smile wavered but stayed in place. "That can't be right. We paid for everything weeks ago." Susan kept gathering the flowers, unfazed. "I have a written order to reclaim our arrangements." Emily went pale as the chatter died down. Michael hurried over, looking both confused and upset. "What's happening here?" he asked firmly. Susan explained, "Payment problems, sir. We're reclaiming unpaid goods." One of her helpers started wrapping the main arrangement in plastic. "This is unacceptable," Michael fumed, demanding to see a manager. "I am the manager, and our contract clearly states canceled payments nullify our services." Susan signaled her team, who began clearing the tables of centerpieces while the guests stood in disbelief. Outside, the Elegant Affairs catering van showed up. Marcus, with 3 workers and a no-nonsense expression, marched straight through the main doors, ignoring the now nervous crowd. Emily watched her orchids vanish, her once composed look falling apart. "There must be some error. My father couldn't," she stammered. "We need to halt food service immediately," Marcus said, clipboard in hand. "The payment was canceled at 4:15. We have to secure our equipment and stock as per our agreement." Michael approached Marcus, his voice booming and assertive. "This is my wedding reception. You can't just stop service halfway through." But Marcus replied, "We must. If the payment's stopped, we have to protect our things." He motioned to his team, who began covering the food stations with white cloths. Guests shuffled awkwardly, their champagne glasses untouched as worried murmurs rippled through the air. A phone rang loudly, cutting the tense silence. The string quartet abruptly ceased playing as their equipment manager unplugged everything. The room darkened as the sound system shut down. In the center of her unraveling wedding, Emily stood frozen in her gown, untouched amid the chaos of disappearing services. This wasn't supposed to happen. Not today. Not like this. "Emily, what kind of deal did your family make?" Michael's voice now suspicious, his anger redirecting from the vendors to his bride. "I don't know," Emily responded, her voice trembling as real panic set in for the first time. She believed everything was settled. The venue coordinator approached, phone glued to her ear, and spoke softly but urgently. She walked over to Emily with a bit of hesitation. "Mrs. Anderson, I've just spoken to our accounting team. All today's payments came from a single account under James Clark. That account holder canceled all authorizations." Emily's calm demeanor shattered. She suddenly grasped the full extent of her father's big-heartedness and the consequences of her own actions. Her hands shook as she fumbled for her phone, scrolling through her contacts until she found the one she needed. Out in the parking lot, my phone vibrated on the dashboard, and Emily's name flashed on the screen. Through the windshield, I could see her silhouette standing in the venue's doorway, phone pressed to her ear with an urgent look. I didn't answer right away. 25 years of loving her had brought me to this moment. I'd clung to the belief that my sacrifices would build her character, not wreck it. Emily was just 3 when her mother passed away. Cancer took Sarah in just 6 months, leaving me with a little girl who asked for her mom every morning and night. I could have gotten remarried and found someone to help raise Emily, but I chose to be everything she needed on my own. "Daddy, can you read me another story?" she'd say when she was 5, snuggled in her pink pajamas. I'd already read 3 books, and I had a big meeting early the next day. Her trusting green eyes, so much like Sarah's, won me over. "Of course, sweetheart. Daddy always has time for you," became my mantra. James Clark always found time and resources for Emily, doing whatever it took to see her happy. By the time she was 8, her private school tuition was swallowing half my quarterly profits. The best education money can buy, I kept telling myself as I wrote checks, opting for fewer business expansions and tighter budgets at home. When I informed Emily about Riverside Academy, she hugged me tight and said, "Thank you, Daddy. I'll study hard and make you proud." And she did. She earned straight A's, starred in school plays where I clapped louder than any other parent, always in the front row. Afterward, she'd seek me out, beaming with pride. "Did you see me remember all my lines, Daddy? I thought of you the whole time." But high school changed things. At Riverside Academy, she was surrounded by classmates with trust funds and vacation homes, and Emily began noticing the disparities. Her Sweet 16 party cost more than some cars. A BMW parked in the driveway, catered food, fancy decorations. "All my friends got BMWs, Dad. The Honda is kind of a letdown," she said in 2015. That was the first time she expected presents instead of appreciating them. I should have seen it as a warning. College nearly wiped out my business expansion. Northwestern University, Emily's dream school, meant sacrifices way beyond tuition. Sorority dues, spring break trips to Cancun, study abroad programs in Italy, each semester brought new financial needs. "Dad, I need $3,000 for a business fraternity trip. It's crucial for networking," she'd call, and every conversation felt more like a transaction. Her visits home dwindled to holidays. The calls she made boiled down to how much she needed and when she needed it. Graduate school brought Michael into the picture. Old money with family ties, everything I couldn't offer despite working hard all these years. Emily started to make comments about my appearance at family events. "Do you think you could wear something other than those work boots when you visit? Michael's friends will be there," she'd suggest. The girl who once thanked me for bedtime stories now felt embarrassed by the man who gave her everything she ever wanted. My success in construction didn't matter in her new world. Building the company that let her have such a lavish life now made me feel like an outsider in it. At Christmas, she introduced me to Michael's parents as Emily's dad, who happens to run a small business. A small business. It stung, because after 25 years of building Clark Construction from scratch, employing 60 people and providing for her expensive lifestyle, it was reduced to this, a small business. We then got into a discussion about who would pay for the wedding. Emily mentioned that Michael's family had certain ideas about what the event should entail. There was no thank you for covering the cost, no gratitude, just expectations, as if my life's accomplishments solely existed to satisfy her social ambitions. Wedding planning felt more like business meetings. Emily came with spreadsheets, and Michael discussed keeping costs low. Neither recognized that each dollar on the budget represented months of my hard work. Ecuadorian flowers, champagne costing more than a day's wage for my employees, and a gown pricier than most people's rent. "Dad, it's not about the money, it's about quality," Emily would insist, emphasizing how Michael's family appreciates true quality. quality that my money provided, though somehow my presence lessened its value. The success that made their dream wedding possible somehow made my involvement feel unnecessary. My phone buzzed again, Emily's third call in less than 5 minutes. Through the venue's window, I saw her pacing, wedding dress trailing like a flag of surrender. Years of sacrifices led to this, not a thankful daughter acknowledging her father, but a frantic woman realizing what she'd overlooked. It was poetic justice. The love that spoiled her would now reveal its true worth. My phone rang. It was time to pick up. I started the car and drove off, watching Emily become a smaller speck in my rear view. Her phone kept ringing, the 7th time in 10 minutes. Each ring felt like it was on my conditions now, not hers. The drive home through Spokane's Saturday night traffic took about 20 minutes. All the while, Emily's calls kept lighting up my phone. Each one sounded more desperate than the last. When I finally pulled into my driveway, 4 voicemails waited for me. I listened to them in the garage, engine off, the door closing like the end of the first act of the day. The first message carried urgency. "Dad, there's an issue with the payments. Call me immediately." The second was fraught. "This isn't funny. Vendors are demanding money, people are staring. Just call." The third turned to please. "Please, Dad. I don't understand what's happening. Michael's family is interrogating me." The fourth, her voice breaking, "I need you. Please, answer." Another call came through, Emily's name on the screen beside her college graduation photo, the last time she hugged me without expecting money in return. I picked up on the 5th ring. "Hello, Emily." "Dad, finally! What did you do? How could you sabotage my wedding?" She was fully panicked now, none of the earlier indifference. That was a good sign. Panic meant awareness. Awareness was a step toward understanding. I assured her I didn't ruin anything. I just stopped paying. "You can't just stop. It's my wedding day. Guests are waiting on flowers and the dinner's halted." "Where are you calling from?" "The hotel. They told us to pay before checking in." "So you left the venue, I take it," I noted, now understanding her echoing surroundings and lack of music. "Emily, pay attention. When did you last thank me for anything?" "What? Dad, this isn't the time. I need you to handle these vendors." "Answer the question. When did you last show real gratitude for my support?" Silence. I could hear Michael's annoyed voice somewhere nearby. I can't recall exact times, but I've always been grateful. You know that, right?" "Actually, I don't know that. What I do know is 3 hours ago, you said I wasn't welcome at your wedding, the one I paid for entirely." "That's not what I meant. I was just stressed. Weddings, you know." Her tone shifted to the familiar coaxing voice she perfected in college when she'd say, "Hey, Dad, can you cover me for this spring break trip? I'll pay you back, I promise. But right now, we need to handle the bills to save what's left of the reception. We still have the cake and a few guests lingering. The photographer's waiting, hoping we can sort it out. And how exactly are you planning to pay?" There was a longer pause this time. "I figured you'd handle it. You always have." "Yeah, in the past I have. Do you even know how much I've spent on you over the last 25 years? Dad, I can't deal with guessing numbers right now. I'm stressed out. Take a wild guess. I don't know, maybe around $50,000? I almost laughed. $50,000 wouldn't have even covered your sophomore year at Northwestern. Emily, I've spent over $300,000 on you, for your education, living, transport, and lifestyle ever since your mom passed away. And that's without counting today's expenses. She went quiet, except for her breathing. 300 grand? That can't be right. Actually, it's a bit on the low side. I have records for every expense. Why bring it up now? Because you've never asked. In all these years, you never questioned the cost of your lifestyle or its impact on me. A burden? Seriously, I'm your daughter. Exactly, and I loved you enough to sacrifice everything for your happiness. But what have you ever given up for mine? I heard Michael's voice getting louder in the background, and she covered the phone, having a muffled argument. Dad, Michael's family is really mad. They're demanding to know how we're going to pay for this. That's for you and your husband to figure out. But I don't have that kind of money. You know that. Maybe it's time you learn how to make it." Silence hung for almost 30 seconds. "What do you want from me?" "I want you to understand what you lost today when you pushed aside the person who made your lifestyle possible. I realize now. I messed up. Can we fix this?" "We'll see. I'm going over our financial history. There'll be paperwork. We'll talk when I'm ready." I hung up and turned off my phone. I looked out the kitchen window at the twinkling lights of Spokane. Emily was out there, facing her first real experience of financial independence. Her education was just beginning. The warm glow from the lamp illuminated years of meticulous record-keeping in my home office. The filing cabinets lined the walls like silent keepers of secrets she never wanted to know. Tonight, those secrets would finally be put to use. Steam rose from my coffee as I opened the first drawer labeled Emily Education 2020. The house settled into evening quiet, but my mind buzzed with the same focus that built Clark Construction from scratch to a 60-person team. This wasn't about revenge, it was an audit. First up, Riverside Academy. A dozen years of private school tuition, every payment accounted for with bank transfers and semester reports. It started at $8,000 a year back in 2008 and went up to $12,000 by the time she graduated. Crunching the numbers was eye-opening, $126,000 just for elementary and high school. I started a new spreadsheet, clacking away at the keyboard. Column headers, date, description, amount, category, running total. 25 years of fatherhood boiled down to data and math. The Northwestern University folder came next, a thick one, full of dorm agreements, meal plans, study abroad costs. Just tuition was $52,000 a year for 4 years. Room and board added another $15,000 each year. Junior year's spring break in Cancun, $3,500. Summer in Italy during her art history phase, $8,200. "It's essential for my education, Dad," she'd argued about Italy. "Networking, you know." The receipts kept coming, numbers climbing. Northwestern total, $284,000. College costs more than many people earn in 5 years. The transportation folder had its own tales. First car at 16, a reliable Honda Civic for $18,000. "But everyone else has BMWs," she'd complained 6 months later. Second car at 19, a BMW 320i for $28,000. Third car. By 25, Emily drove a BMW X3 because all of Michael's friends had fancy SUVs. All these cars came with hidden costs like insurance, maintenance, and registration, expenses Emily never noticed. A good dad takes these on without a word. My phone vibrated again, and this time it was Emily's name lighting up the screen. I ignored the call, focusing instead on my spreadsheet. iPhone 14, Pro, Max, $1,200. My tech expenses folder was already full of unexpected costs. Then there was Emily's place in Lincoln Park, costing $2,800 every month for 3 years. Her credit card bills frequently skyrocketed whenever she outspent the generous budget I provided, including $100 monthly for her dog, Tazoo, over 2 years. She indulged in designer outfits, spa getaways, and trips with her friends who had similar financial support from their parents. Meanwhile, her expenses just kept climbing like interest on a savings account. Here's the breakdown. Education, $410,000. Transportation, $75,000. Housing support, $125,000. Personal expenses, $180,000. Wedding, $147,000. Adding it all up came to $937,000. Nearly $1 million spent over 25 years. Each expense seemed reasonable at the time. Private school was an investment in her future. College offered opportunities. A reliable car meant safety. Nice clothes boosted her confidence. Her wedding was a celebration of love. But the truth was, Emily never contributed a dime to her lifestyle. She hadn't kept a job longer than 6 months, never worried about finances, or expressed appreciation for what I'd done. I looked through photo albums from her childhood. There was 8-year-old Emily, smiling with a toothy grin after a school play. "Thanks for coming, Daddy. Did you hear how loud they clapped?" And there she was at 12, proud after a spelling bee victory. I thought of you when I got nervous, and it helped me remember the words. When did she stop viewing me as someone to thank? When did I turn into just the financier of her dreams? Emily's 14th call came in since we last spoke. This time, she left a voicemail. "Dad, please pick up. I've been thinking about what you said. I know I've taken you for granted. Michael's family might withdraw support if we can't explain our financial situation. Tell me what you need from me." What I truly needed was 25 years worth of appreciation that wasn't coming. I wanted Emily to grasp the value of what she had so easily neglected. I printed out the spreadsheet and sorted everything into manila folders. Education, transportation, housing, personal expenses, wedding costs. Each folder filled with love translated into dollars, sacrifice captured in bank transfers. Tomorrow, we'd have a conversation Emily wasn't ready for. It was time to talk about responsibility, accountability, and the true cost of entitlement. Tonight was all about preparation. Papers were scattered across my desk like courtroom evidence. Nearly $1 million given without hesitation, thanks or acknowledgement. Emily had lived lavishly, thinking of me as only her bankroller. That was about to change. My phone buzzed with her name again, but I hesitated. Let her experience a bit of what financial dependency feels like. The lessons would start in the morning. Sunday morning arrived, bringing March's crisp air and a sense of clarity from careful planning. My briefcase was ready by the door, packed with 25 years of evidence. Richards and Associates had arranged an urgent consultation for 9 a.m., a favor among businessmen who understood that some things shouldn't wait for Monday. The law office had an appropriately serious vibe: mahogany-paneled walls, shelves of legal books, and certificates displaying years of success. Margaret Richards, with her silver hair and professional demeanor, welcomed me in the conference room, exuding the authority I needed. "Mr. Clark, your records are exceptionally detailed." She spread the folders across the polished table, quickly scanning the financial summaries. Each page was a testament to Emily's lifestyle, funded by my sacrifices. Nearly $1 million over 25 years is significant, even by our standards. I approached the situation with the gravity it deserved, taking a seat across from her at the desk in a comfortable leather chair. Our conversation was all business, no room for emotions. Emily had to grasp the financial realities she'd been disregarding. Margaret nodded as she took notes on her yellow legal pad. We had a couple of options: reclassify it as a gift or draft a promissory note. Given her constant demands without taking any responsibility, we could go in several directions. Margaret outlined our approach with precise detail: send a formal letter demanding full repayment within 30 days, include a detailed list of expenses with all the necessary evidence, lay out a clear response and negotiation timeline, and explain the professional consequences of ignoring it. This would turn a family problem into a simple business matter, making it easier for everyone. By 11 a.m., all the documents were ready, complete with an official letterhead and serious formal language. The main point was straightforward: pay back $937,000 within 30 days or face legal consequences. We planned to have it delivered by courier that afternoon, with a signature required to confirm receipt. I went home with the document copies, feeling a mix of satisfaction and sorrow over the need for such drastic measures. Emily had created this situation by always expecting everything with no questions asked. I was just making her face consequences she'd never had before. At 2:15 p.m., my phone buzzed. The courier let me know the paperwork had been delivered to the Spokane Grand Hotel, room 1247. Emily Clark Anderson signed the receipt. The formalities kicked into motion. I could imagine Emily's shock when the hotel desk called about a legal package, probably expecting it to be vendor paperwork. I pictured Michael acting the part of the responsible husband, confidently breaking the seal, slowly grasping the seriousness of it all. At 2:47 p.m., my phone was constantly lighting up with Emily's name. I sent the calls to voicemail, each message sounding more desperate than the last. First message: Dad, what is this legal document? This can't be real. Second message: $900,000? That's insane. You never called these loans. Third message: call me back. Michael's family is asking questions I can't answer. Fourth message, her voice shaky: I don't get how things fell apart so quickly. Emily and Michael were starting to see what it means to be accountable when the law is on your case. Everything labeled as gifts over 25 years was now a recoverable debt, duly documented. The wedding fiasco was just the beginning. This was the main event. Margaret had explained the whole civil debt recovery process. They would need lawyers to respond properly. That would cost them money they didn't have against a debt they couldn't settle. All afternoon, as Emily desperately tried to reach me, my phone was flooded with missed calls, 15 of them, and 8 voicemails, each one revealing her growing realization of her situation. The same woman who uninvited me from her wedding was now seeing what she had let go. The irony wasn't lost on me. Emily spent 25 years assuming my financial backing was guaranteed. Now she had 30 days to pay it all back, with serious repercussions if she failed. My phone buzzed once more, Emily's 16th call. This time I answered. Dad, please, she begged, exhaustion replacing her earlier panic. We need to talk about this rationally. This legal document, it can't be real. I sat at my kitchen table, my coffee steaming nearby. Outside, Spokane Sunday was calm. Families were out walking their dogs, kids were riding their bikes, just regular folks living their lives. The document is very real, Emily, and so are the 30 days you have to respond. But $900,000? That's impossible. You never called it a loan. I never said it was a gift either. You just assumed. In the background, I could hear Michael's exasperated voice, papers rustling, the sound of pacing steps. Emily, I need to ask you something, I said, keeping my voice steady. Who do you really think you can call on for help with this? There was a long silence. Family, friends, the people who care about me. I see. Well, you've got 29 days left. I'd recommend you start now. I stopped making those calls and switched my phone to silent mode. Let Emily see what I'd already realized. Being almost $1 million in debt shows who stands by you and who doesn't. My phone buzzed all afternoon, Emily's name constantly flashing like an SOS signal. I let each call go unanswered and skipped listening to any voicemails. By the evening, the calls slowed down. Monday morning rolled in with a different mood. No frantic attempts from Emily, just a strange quiet. I made my way to the construction site where a new office complex was kicking off. There's something about the physical labor that always clears my mind. The noise of the machines, the scent of fresh earth, and seeing something solid take shape is rewarding. Around 10 a.m., Dave, my foreman, walked over. Boss, you seem different today. Everything cool? Just family stuff, I said as I watched the excavator dig out the foundation. Sometimes you have to make tough decisions for everyone's own good, kind of like parenting. My phone buzzed. A text from Emily. Dad, I've tried reaching out to everyone. They can't believe how much it is. Call me. I erased the message without replying. An hour later, another text. Aunt Margaret isn't helping. She says I need to learn responsibility. What does that even mean? Then another. Sarah's not returning my calls. Lisa's asking why I never worked. Everyone's acting like I messed up. Emily's isolation was growing more obvious through each new message. Her college roommate felt uneasy discussing it. Her sorority sisters were blown away by the financial mess. The few friends she had left couldn't provide that kind of money. Michael was feeling the pressure too. His mom rang 3 times demanding explanations. His dad wanted a family meeting about keeping up appearances. His brother had tough questions about handling finances before their wedding. By Tuesday, it was clear. Emily's support network was crumbling under that debt. People who loved her for her lavish parties and expensive gifts were nowhere to be found now that she needed financial help. On Wednesday, a different text came through. "Dad, Michael's family is suggesting he consider an annulment. They think our marriage was built on financial deception. Call me so we can figure this out." I almost chuckled. Michael's family was seeing the truth faster than he was. Thursday's text was short. "No one will help. Everyone has excuses. Michael's barely speaking to me. His parents are advising him to get legal advice to protect his assets. How did everything change so quickly?" With 25 days left, Emily was beginning to understand what financial independence really means when you've never had to earn it. Everything was unfolding just the way I intended. Friday morning's silence was unusual. No messages, no frantic calls from Emily. Just an odd calm that had me checking my phone twice to make sure it was working properly. Monday brought the storm. My assistant, Rachel, knocked on my office door at around 9 a.m., holding a printout of an email, looking worried. "Mr. Clark, there's an inquiry from the Spokane Business Journal. They're questioning if family matters are affecting your business." I read the email twice. It had a professional tone, but hinted at concerns over my stability and how I deal with family. Someone must have been talking. "Any clue how this got out?" I asked. Rachel showed me her tablet with a Facebook post that had over 200 shares. There was Emily's wedding photo, looking radiant and joyful, along with a heartfelt post accusing me of ruining her wedding and demanding ridiculous financial repayments as a form of punishment. The post painted me as a harsh father, taking revenge on his daughter for perceived wrongs. Hundreds of comments showed shock and sympathy, tagging local business partners I'd worked with for years. My phone rang. It was Bob Martinez from Martinez Concrete, a business partner for over 2 decades. "James, I've been hearing some disturbing things. Online, people were buzzing about your issues with covering your daughter's wedding costs. There are documents, Bob, that tell a different story. Hopefully because folks are starting to question your city dealings. You know how politics go around here." Within an hour, 3 more people reached out, each concerned, each subtly questioning my mental state and business decisions. Emily and Michael were up to something. I quickly figured out Michael's strategy. His family name got him into Spokane's upper circles. The Andersons had connections everywhere, from country clubs and charity events to professional groups where reputation was everything. They were pulling those strings to spread Emily's victim story. Local Facebook groups lit up with wild versions. Stuff like, "Construction company owner demands $450K from daughter after ruining her wedding," and "Spokane businessman sues own child for wedding expenses," were all over, each story more dramatic and harmful. By midday, I got 7 work-related calls, all sounding concerned. The head of the Spokane Rotary Club checked in on my mental state concerning future community projects. 3 separate contractors mentioned hearing things that could hurt our business relationships. Emily and Michael chose their battle carefully. In Spokane, reputation is everything. Tarnish someone's business image, and you threaten their livelihood. They misjudged one thing. I went home and pulled out the documents Margaret Richards had helped me put together. 25 years of financial records, all in order. Every check, every payment, all the expenses Emily never asked about or appreciated. Then I made my own calls. "Margaret, I need a press conference scheduled for tomorrow morning. We're going public with these financial records." "Are you certain? Once it's out there, you can't take it back." Emily and Michael already went public with their version. It's time for the real story. The next 6 hours were all about preparing. I reached out to the Spokane Business Journal, suggesting full financial transparency. I contacted reporters Emily's team had talked to, promising them evidence that tells the real story. Most importantly, I got in touch with business partners, community leaders, and professional associates I've known for 25 years. They've seen me build Clark Construction from the ground up. They recognize my dedication to both business and family. Dave, I'm calling everyone on our contractor list. There's a story coming tomorrow that will set the record straight about Emily's situation. By evening, I knew the Spokane Business Journal was on board with a feature story. Local news agreed to cover the press conference. The documents were copied and ready to go. Emily's attack lasted 3 days. My response would take just one morning. The truth, clear and thoroughly presented, would surpass social media drama and emotional appeals. With 24 days left before the legal cutoff, Emily would soon realize that reputation games don't work against someone with the real facts backing them up. Tuesday morning came on time. At 9 a.m., I released 25 years of financial records on every platform Emily and Michael had tainted with their lies. The presentation was solid and professional. Bank statements showing $937,000 spent over 25 years, detailed spreadsheets listing education, transportation, housing, and lifestyle expenses. Photos of Emily through the years, each matched to the financial support provided. Full transparency. 25 years of parental support documented was the headline I chose. Underneath was a complete timeline showing Emily's journey from a grateful child to an entitled adult, every dollar spent clearly tracked and verified. The response was quick. Within an hour, calls came in with a different tone. No more worries. This time, it was support. James, I had no idea of the level of support you offered, Tom Bradley from Bradley Electrical said. I've got my kids in college and I'm spending about 15 grand a year. You were dishing out that much every semester, remember? Bob Martinez called me back. He said, I owe you an apology. After seeing those bank statements, I understand what you're dealing with. That kind of entitlement would test any parent's patience. The social media landscape shifted drastically. Comments that once supported Emily as a victim suddenly seemed absurd when people got a look at the actual financial facts. Shared screenshots of bank statements showed a hefty $52,000 paid for school each year, along with proof of expenses for 3 luxury cars, and over 27 years of living costs that would have put a strain on most household budgets. At 11 a.m., Margaret Richards gave me a ring, exclaiming, James, you won't believe the community's reaction. The Spokane Business Journal is interested in writing a piece on financial responsibility and entitlement. You've managed to turn what could have been a reputational mess into a teachable moment for all. By lunchtime, Emily's original Facebook post was hilarious next to the mountain of evidence I'd showcased. People began sharing my documents, writing things like, check out what real parental sacrifice looks like. No surprise he's asking for some payback. Supporting a kid this way is like a full-time job. The Spokane construction community was entirely on my side. Former doubters among contractors vouched for my dedication to work and honesty. Even the Rotary Club president showed public support, while the mayor's office talked up the importance of financial responsibility within families. Dave shot me a text from the job site saying, Boss, the crew's talking about your situation. Everyone's backing you up. Emily's narrative doesn't hold water anymore. Local news picked it up as well, presenting it as an enlightening story about parental sacrifice and responsibility. The facts simplified their task. They reported them straightforwardly, letting the audience make up their minds. Emily's attempt at victimhood collapsed under 25 years of financial clarity. The community that once questioned me was now scrutinizing her. Michael's family and their circles were realizing the truth about their own. Their integrity was being leveraged to spread falsehoods about a credible businessman who was just laying out the facts. By evening, the story had done a complete 180. Emily and Michael weren't victims. They were privileged attackers of a father who finally put his foot down. The paperwork told a story that no amount of emotional spin could alter. Every bank statement was a chapter in a tale of sacrifice. Every receipt was a testament to love taken for granted. Emily texted me, Dad, take those financial records down. People are talking about us. I simply ignored it. Still 23 days to go. The moment of truth was approaching. On Wednesday at 6:47 a.m., Michael's phone shrieked in a cramped hotel room filled with tension from social media drama and mounting financial pressure. "Michael, it's your dad," the voice came through loud and clear. "We need to discuss some things now." Emily saw the color drain from Michael's face with every word. His replies were brief and defensive. "Yes, I understand." "No, I wasn't aware of just how detailed the documentation was. It's more complicated than we thought." After 12 minutes, he hung up, then said, "My family wants me back home today." "Home? Michael, this is just temporary," Emily remarked. But he interrupted, his voice carrying a weight she'd never heard before. "My father's gotten calls from several business partners. Everyone at the country club is buzzing about our family's reputation and financial misconduct." "Financial misconduct? This isn't some scam, just family issues blown out of proportion." Michael started hurriedly gathering his belongings. He was stuffing clothes into his suitcase with angry movements. "Your father shared bank records showing he gave you close to $1 million, and you didn't even acknowledge it," he stammered. "In my circles, that's viewed as deception, maybe even manipulation." Emily was hit with a cold wave of panic. "You're leaving? We just got married 6 days ago." "These past 6 days have destroyed my career and dragged my family's reputation through the mud," Michael angrily declared, packing even faster. "I have a trust fund, business deals, and a future riding on certain relationships." Emily pleaded, "What about us, our marriage vows?" He finally paused, meeting her eyes for the first time since that awful phone call. "Our vows? You threw me into this mess without any warning. Your dad wants nearly $1 million back and you can't pay it. My family's lawyer says I need to cover my back." Emily felt crushed. "But I'm your wife," she cried. "Right now, you're just a financial disaster with no assets and a huge debt," he shot back. Emily felt like each word was a slap in the face. "My family's reputation can't handle this scandal," Michael emphasized. Her phone, which had been quiet like a calm before a storm, buzzed with a text from Michael's mom. "Emily, dear, Michael needs to come home for a family issue. You get it, right?" Even his mom, who had praised Emily at their wedding, was cutting ties as cleanly as a surgeon. "Michael, please, we can fix this. My dad's upset, but he cares. It'll work out," she insisted. Michael pointed at her laptop, the screen alive with brutal social media comments. "This isn't just going to disappear. Your dad revealed financial secrets from 25 years back, labeling you a trust fund kid who never worked." The truth stung. Emily had never held a job for long or asked where her easy lifestyle came from. "I was just being a daughter. Aren't daughters meant to be supported?" But not to the extent of nearly $1 million over 25 years, without showing any gratitude. He zipped up his suitcase. "My family interacts with society. They start businesses, support causes, they add value. What have you done besides spend?" Emily felt something shatter deep inside. It wasn't just her marriage, but how she saw herself. "Where can I go? I can't afford a hotel. My credit cards are maxed out. No one talks to me now." Michael hesitated at the door. "Call your dad. Apologize. Maybe he'll help you grow into the adult you've never been." "Michael, don't leave me alone," she begged. "Emily, ever since we got married, I've felt alone. You brought nothing but demands and debts." His voice softened a bit. "Maybe losing all of this will teach you something money didn't." His exit, marked by the door closing with chilling finality, left Emily alone in the hotel room. Her wedding dress, still hanging in the closet, was a stark reminder of the past 6 days that turned her world upside down. No husband, no family support, no friends, no money. For the first time in her life, Emily Clark Anderson was truly on her own. She picked up her phone, scrolling to her dad's contact, feeling too ashamed to reach out. She had just 22 days to find money she didn't have, mend broken bridges, and become someone entirely new. The phone barely rang once before she heard her dad's voice. Hello, Emily. It wasn't warm like she remembered, but it wasn't cold either. Just an acknowledgement that she was reaching out after hitting rock bottom. Dad, she managed, her voice weak and shaky. I don't know where to start. Begin with the truth. Can you actually see what happened this week? She glanced around the empty hotel room, the void Michael left behind, the harsh world glaring back at her from her laptop. The comments section exploded with criticism, attacking her behavior. Her entire 28-year life of carefree entitlement crumbled like a wrecking ball had hit. Everything vanished. Her husband left this morning, and his family completely cut her off. She couldn't even pay for another night at the hotel. Her voice trembled as she admitted to being despised by everyone. Do you see why? The unspoken question hung in the air, daring her to confront it. For 28 years, she dodged responsibility, found excuses, always blamed others. But not this time. She realized she treated her dad like an ATM, not appreciating his sacrifices, behaving selfishly, entitled, and cruel. Silence fell, allowing her to hear him processing everything she said. Keep going, he urged. I saw those financial papers you shared. $900,000 over 25 years. I never really questioned where it came from or thanked you. I didn't even think about what you sacrificed for me. Tears were streaming down now, the first real ones since all this started. I even cut you from my wedding, the one you paid for completely. What else? I tried to wreck your name when you stood up to me, spreading lies online and having Michael's family circulate rumors. Admitting it felt like draining poison from a deep wound. I turned into the poster child of spoiled kids who never grow up. Emily, he continued, his voice gentler. Remember when you were 8, after Mom passed away? You'd hug me every night, calling me the best dad? I nodded. I wanted to give you everything out of love, but somehow, giving you everything made you stop loving me back. I never stopped loving you, Dad. I just stopped being grateful, stopped acting like your daughter, became just a taker. So what do you want now? That question scared me because it wasn't just about immediate help. It was about what our relationship could become. I want to earn your respect, to become the daughter you deserve. I want to learn to be an adult who gives back, not just takes. I wiped away my tears. But first, I need some help to get back on my feet, to prove I can change. What kind of help? He asked. I need money for a week's stay while I job hunt, just something, anything. I need to show I can stand on my own. Emily, if I help you, there'll be conditions. Anything, I promised. Get a job in 2 weeks. I don't care if it's cleaning or serving tables. Pride's not a luxury you have now. Got it. No more asking for money for 6 months. You have to live on what you earn. Yes, and let's talk weekly as adults, not as parent and child. I want that. I want to earn being your daughter again. Emily, I'm sending you $1,000. It'll cover a week's stay and basic groceries. After that, you're on your own. Dad, thank you. I know I don't deserve it. You're right, you don't, but everyone deserves a chance to grow up, even at 28. His tone was a mix of sternness and hope. Emily, I've always loved you. I want to see if I can respect you too. I won't let you down, not again. We'll see. Love you, sweetheart. The call ended, but for the first time in a while, I felt something besides despair. It wasn't quite relief, but a hint of possibility, a chance to become someone worthy of respect. 21 days to prove I could change, a lifetime to regain everything I'd lost. I opened my laptop, searching for jobs in Spokane. Every entry-level job seemed daunting to someone like me who'd never worked, but daunting was still better than impossible. For the first time, I was about to earn something on my own. My real education was just starting,